Yes, people, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. It's the Premier League round actually back once again. Shaun, it only feels like a couple of days and we're back again.
Yeah, there's no messing about at the moment, is there? One after the other.
Definitely not. We are here with the Premier League round. Actually, we've got our substitute for Josh this week. Josh can't make it, so I brought in Dan from Turf Moorhouse TV. Dan, how are you?
I'm okay. A lot better than yesterday.
Yeah, it's good to get Dan on because if you've seen Dan's stuff, he wasn't best pleased with Burnley's result. He's a Burnley fan, of course. He wasn't best pleased with Burnley's result yesterday. So it's going to be interesting when we get onto that game a little bit later on. But Shaun, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Gearing up for back to work tomorrow. I just got my negative result with COVID, so we're all systems go.
Lovely stuff.
You jammy get. I've still got to wait for me 2 negatives in a row, but I work from home, so work won't cut it if I just say, I'm sorry, I can't come in.
Today's day 7. All good to go.
Oh dear. Cyber, hope you're well. It's your boy Dan, hope you're well as well. Right, let's get into the first game. Plenty of controversy in this game. Dan, I'll come to you. Arsenal 1, Man City 2. There was goals, there was last-minute winners, there was red cards, there was VAR. Plenty to talk about.
Yeah, massive. I think, to be fair, this is the sort of game that needs to be watched numerous times. This is a game that needs to be shown to upcoming referees and then, stop. Right, where do you think the next error was? Bang, where do you think this was? Because it was literally full of drama either side. Not that they're going to put money into referee courses anyway. I mean, they don't even put money into flaming grassroots, let alone out else. The only place they put it's the back pocket. So the game itself were a decent game, to be fair. Good bit of football, good battling, and as you say, City nicking it. You've got to feel harsh for Arsenal because Arsenal had their own chances to win it. If anything, I actually thought Arsenal were the better side in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And you look at it, and Arsenal are the better side. There was a sending off. There was a yellow card for scuffing the penalty spot. Now I looked at that and thought, he's an experienced defender, Gabriel, and I looked at that down and I went, what the hell are you doing? It's just, Shaun.
It's silly though, isn't it? It's silly because even the sending off, for me, was harsh. For me, it was quite harsh. I thought.
I can see why, because that's they were. I can see why he gave a yellow card for scuffing the penalties, but I thought the second one was a yellow card. I thought, why are you blocking somebody's path when you're already on a yellow card? To me, an experienced defender, you just don't do that on a yellow card. Shaun?
I know this is not my game, and I know a lot of Arsenal did first half. They were tearing Man City to pieces. I thought really good, and Arsenal fans have had a bit of a meltdown over this since, haven't they? But and I know there's lots of decisions, but to be honest, I thought they got every decision spot on.
Ooh.
I know they've seen. There's been you can do a still frame of I think it was Ederson penalty.
Yeah,
and you take a still frame of anything and make it look wrong, but if you on the super slow mo, I did think the keeper got the ball first, and I stand by it. On the super slow mo, almost looks like it was Odegaard, wasn't it? Almost like he went over the ball when studied the keeper.
Yeah, it did look like that. Yeah,
the bookings, obviously, you mess around with a penalty spot. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get booked, but. And the penalty, it was soft, but it was Xhaka, wasn't it, in the box pulling on a shirt. If you're half pulling a shirt off, Arsenal fans are having a bit of a cry, but it summed up Arsenal the last 2 seasons perfectly to me. They can play pretty football, but then their players on the pitch get petulant. How many times have you seen Xhaka try and chuck away a game?
I was going to say it's just standard Xhaka, isn't it?
Yeah, and he was even doing it after the penalty, like almost trying to get a second yellow. I don't know, and like the Gabriel. If you do a stupid yellow card, he's annoyed the penalty was given, so he chucks a yellow card away. Then maybe you could say the second yellow is soft, but he's given. I always look at it one way. If you're giving the referee a chance to give a yellow card, if you're giving the official a 50-50 opportunity or a 70-30 and you're on a yellow card, you're stupid. don't do it. So Arsenal fans are having a bit of a meltdown. Well, it was Arsenal played better than normal, but in a way it was just same old Arsenal. They nearly did well in a game, and then they just chucked it away with stupidity. We've seen it so many.
Dan, can you see why Arsenal fans are moaning? I do agree with Shaun. I thought the Odegaard penalty. I thought Ederson won the ball, and then Odegaard actually stamped on Ederson's foot. I thought there was 2 fouls in that Xhaka penalty. I thought he stuck his leg out and he went over him, and he pulled his shirt. I think it's a penalty, and I think the red card's a red card. Arsenal fans always make somehow, someway. They always try and moan. Can you see why they're moaning? If that happened to you as a Burnley fan, would you be sitting there moaning?
See, I think I said it in the preview for the West for when we came up against each other, and I think I said that I've started going to games, and it's been a case now of when you watch it. I used to always turn up to games with my claret tinted glasses on and be like, everything should go our way. We're at home, blah blah blah. But now I've sort of sat there and thought, right, you've grown up now. Start watching the game a bit more. Like, you're literally analysing it and thinking, well, if that's a foul for us, like, it's a foul at other end of pitch sort of thing. So you've got to sort of look at it in 2 ways. I can see why it was a red. It's just one of those. It's so hard to call with cards and stuff nowadays because of the standard of officiating. Literally, you could have your back turned and just literally stick your middle finger up to a referee and get a red card. But then you see stuff like, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was in the Brentford game. Somebody just dived, didn't they, or something?
We'll get onto that. That was horrific. We'll get onto that.
That's what I mean. But stuff like that doesn't get looked at. But then something as fickle, really, can get you in trouble and get you fined.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of your comments. Let's see who we've got. Josh has aged over Christmas. He has, Shaun. Josh really has aged, and he's growing some facial hair along with it as well.
I know. I need a shave. It's well thick. Honestly, I stuck a brush in it early, and it just stuck there. I was like, no, needs to go.
Mandy, hope you are well. Arsenal are going to lose Partey, who's starting to come in some form. I've never really rated him in an Arsenal show, but I thought some people will say he played really well against Man City. Pepe's not playing. How big of a miss is Partey? He will be because, I think Xhaka's a liability in midfield, whoever he's next to, but no, that is what it is. That's their problem, not ours. Mike says Arsenal looked very good, to be fair, but all the time wasting came back to bite them on the bum. It did, and same old Arsenal as it always is. Sharky, hope you are well. I thought the penalty given was correct. So did I.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying hello, Stuart. Right then. And so here we go then. Right, Watford 0, Spurs 1. We breezed past Watford the week before 4-1. It took a Davinson Sanchez 95th minute winner for the Spuds to get past Watford. Shaun.
Yeah. I watched this live on a little bit dodgy link, as we do nowadays. It was don't know, it was a strange one. When I was watching it, I was frustrated. But when I look back on it, it was a tricky one because if you look, I'm not really always one for stats because it can blur a vision of a game. But if you look at the stats, I think Spurs have more possession than any team over the whole game weekend, whatever you want to call it. I think they have more shots on goal than anyone, same amount of shots on target as Man City or something like that. So it's right up there. I think the difference in this game with Watford is I think they've took a few pounds, haven't they, the last sort of 3 or 4 games. And they played at home and they basically just parked the bus. They literally just parked the bus from the first minute. I think we had 7. Tottenham aren't known for their possession under Conte. He's not really a possession sort of manager. He's not bothered. But we had 75% possession, I think, after the end of the game. And I'll be honest, probably about 70 or 80% of it was a lot of sort of passing around. We didn't really penetrate. But for Watford, I think they just tried to dig in. I think they had a penalty shout, which I think was rightly not awarded again. And Lloris made one save from him, and that was from about 30 yards. So, but for Tottenham for a couple of years, under numerous managers, we've always struggled under when opposition have played the low block defence. If they just sit, we struggle to create enough through it. We haven't had a really top creative midfielder through the middle for a couple of years. Eriksen probably in his peak when we had Moussa Dembele, he was top drawer. Since they've sort of gone, we've tried to replace them, but with players that haven't cut it. And obviously Conte's got the wing backs. So we're trying to go around the outside a little bit more. And I think we had 11 crosses from the wing backs alone. I think one of them hit their intended target. So that was, whether it's just Watford set up well, I don't know. We've got Emerson Royale at right back. He's not really an attacking wing back. He's learned the role very well, but his final ball's terrible. So two ways to look. I think it's a very good win and deserved win. But Watford, I don't know whether I had heard whispers that already Ranieri's under pressure. So whether he thought I can't take another 4-0 drubbing at home, because I didn't actually watch the Watford West Ham game, but I would bet any money he went for completely different tactics altogether. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he just literally from the first whistle, he just sat everyone deep. He sat everyone deep and thought we're going to try and soak this up. He would have took a 0-0 all day long. What they 4th or 5th bottom at the time. Obviously, we're going to Burnley, but they obviously lost. I think he went for the 0-0 at home, and it didn't pay off. And that, and when you play not to win, and then you end up losing, it can sometimes look worse than a 4-1 defeat, can't it? So
yeah.
But yeah, it was a good win from Spurs. When I look at it back now, it was basically, we covered the Southampton game last week, didn't we? When they went down on 10 men. Yeah. And it's very, very similar. Southampton put 2 blocks of 4 and did the low block. We couldn't break them down on that day. This time, a bit of magic from Son, whipping it in the box, scored in the 96th minute. And they get a deserved win. But again, we covered it in the last show about, I think Tottenham could have had a couple of penalties. One of the reasons one of them was given again is because just terrible cameras. Yeah. Like Eric Dyer sort of dragged to the floor, but you've only got one camera view from behind, and it's the same view you had in the 1990s. So, it might have been a penalty, but it's at Vicarage Road, whatever it is, and it might have been a penalty. Yeah, Tottenham fans, remember in the World Cup when we played Panama and they kept rugby tackling our strikers to the floor every time we had a corner? It's like it's a penalty, but I just think there's not enough cameras for VAR to step in. So, but yeah, it was a good win. I think it's one of those ugly, horrible wins. You're glad the game's over and you move on to the next one.
Let's have a look at the chat. Stole a huge win for Spurs. Watford will be sacking him. So honestly, I think the chairman and the people upstairs at Watford just love the idea of sacking managers and bringing new in. I saw a stat towards the start of the season, and this was really at the start of the season. And I think it was something like Watford's last 5 away wins in the Premier League had come with 5 different managers in the Premier League. So this was like back in September. So their last 5 away wins in the Premier League came from 5 separate different managers. It just sums them up. It's a crazy stat, but that's what Watford like doing. But Watford love hiring and firing managers. They certainly do. Watford now lose 4 players to the AFCON. They do, but crucially, they've denied Emmanuel Dennis going off the AFCON. They've said, no, you didn't get your papers in time. We're going to keep Dennis, which is crucial for them, which I'm sure Dan is not too pleased about, but we'll get on to Burnley a little bit later on. 3 Watford managers until Christmas. Right, let's move on. Oh, it's our game next. Let's talk about that. Crystal Palace 2, West Ham 3. I'll have my little say first. I'll hand over to Dan. Yeah, we were there. To be fair, I thought I said it on my fan cam, West Ham Fan TV. I said we were lucky in the end, I think, and they had some really good chances in the first half. They didn't convert them. We had 2 decent chances. We converted them. We got a lucky penalty, and we all of a sudden 3-0 up at half time, cruising to victory. 81st minute, they get a sudden goal. And then they score a goal in the 90th minute, and we're all backs against the wall on the back foot, thinking we're going to concede a third here, and we're only going to get a point. The 3,000 West Ham fans that were in that stadium, their hearts were in their mouth when Mateta hit that overhead kick, and it went about an inch wide. And we managed to get 3 points somehow, somewhere in the end. From a neutral perspective, Dan, Crystal Palace 2, West Ham 3.
Yeah, good win for you guys, to be honest. I do think that it was one of those games where I like a flutter, so it was one of those games you avoid because you don't know which way it's going to go. It's always going to be a tough game at Selhurst Park as well. But you've been pretty decent, on the road as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to take that. You've got to take that into matter of fact. I thought, as you pretty much you summed it up pretty well. That towards the end of the game, it was squeaky bum time. It was literally just trying to hang on for that win. If anything, that'll have grounded Moyes a bit more. He'll have turned around at the end of that game and said, "Listen, we've got the win. Don't think about those 2 goals. We've got there. It's done. It's done. Park that game now. We move on to the next one." But he'll also learn from that and think, right, we were close to obviously, only getting a point here after a very good performance. So I don't know. You guys are on fire at the minute, and I mean, I say that I know we stole a point, but still.
Burnley's just Burnley, as I say to you all the time. Burnley's just Burnley. But yeah, we're just starting to get back into some form. We were 2 games ago on Christmas Day. We were, or even after our game on Boxing Day, we were 7 points behind Arsenal. We're now 1 point behind Arsenal. They placed the Spuds next, and I expect Spurs to nick a point off them, I think, but at least. And we've got 2 very winnable games up next. We've got Leeds and Norwich, and then Leeds in the FA Cup in the middle of that as well, I think. So we should get 6 points there, I think, and they're both at home as well. All of a sudden, everything's happy days again. But let's have a look at some of your comments. Let's work. Gaza, hope you are well. Easy win. Not quite at the end, Sharky, was it? Not quite at the end. Talking about Spurs, Mike says, to be fair, Conte has made Spurs hard to beat. It won't be good to watch, but he will get results if he gets the players he wants. Whereas Josh say Josh isn't available, so we've pulled in Dan as a substitute because we love Dan, and we're going to take the mick out of Burnley in a minute, so why not? Palace is a hard place to get a result, and we still have pretty much our whole defence missing. Bang on. Everybody's speaking to each other. Mandy, you got COVID. Hope you're all right. Right, let's move on. Brentford 2, Aston Villa 1. This game had goals, and Shaun, it's lucky that Josh isn't here because we'd be ripping him to pieces about Trezeguet's dive in the last minute.
No, let's cover that first. And I don't know. As Dan said, I don't know why things like that aren't bookings, really. It's mad. I think we can talk about decisions to death, but I think half the problem is they've got a book about that big now, different variations of what is a foul, what isn't a foul. If it's simulation, book him. Yeah. It's one line in a book. Just if it's simulation, we got VAR. There's no contact. Book him. That doesn't need a 3-month seminar to work out the rights and wrongs.
I'd go even worse, though. I'd say the rule for diving is straight red. If you're caught diving, straight red, because it's technically match fixing. Yeah. So if they're trying to nip that in the bud and everything else, I mean, VAR was meant to be brought in to clear up obvious errors and stuff like that. That's an obvious error because at the end of the day, they've made a wrong judgment. They've decided to do it off their own back. I'm sorry, but that's it. It's costing you for 3 games.
You could make an argument for that. Only issue is you look at how many penalties Salah's won for the most minimal of contact, and the big clubs probably do get the favouritism. You'd be crying before long. But what you could do, you said about going from a yellow card and match fix and trying to cheat. If you do simulation inside the box, which effectively wins you a match-winning penalty, or even wins a penalty, you could say that's a red card. I'd go along with that. You could say outside the box it's a yellow because it's that. But yeah, the simulation, it's got to be this like very clear. Like that one yesterday, it was clear. Or even something petty, like when you see someone, an arm go up and it hits them in the chest and they're holding their face. Something like ridiculous. If you see they're blatantly lying, then you can then say, right, you're definitely cheating. You've got no grounds at all. It's when it's like anything, like a bit like the Edison penalty. We maybe think it was the right decision, but we're talking the finest of margins. But none of us are 100% sure because the camera can't quite get it. So it's then when clubs start crying. But if it's a blatant cheat, yeah, definitely. Something other about the game. I forgot the game was on, so I went to search. This game, because you got Brentford Clive that comes. He hasn't bit. I tried to wind him up, but I was searching for the game and I found it, and I was watching about 10 seconds of it, and I thought, oh, it's half time, and they were like showing a bit of highlights because the ground was so quiet. I was like, is there any fans in there? I was like, I know Brentford have only got a small little place, but there was just, they're passing the ball around. It was just no noise whatsoever. It was almost like it was played on back when it was behind closed doors, and so it was a bit baffling of it. But yeah, good win for Brentford, obviously. And I think they've been on the peripherals, have been sucked in a little bit. And Gerrard was back in the dugout, wasn't he, for this one? But I think it's a little bump that back down the reality for Villa fans a little bit. I think older Josh thought he was going to be climbing at the 8th place last week soon, didn't he? So yeah, losing away to Brentford, let's get him back down the reality a little bit. And
is that why he's not come on?
Probably.
Jake, I think obviously Mike commented on about Conte getting. I don't keep going back to Tottenham. I always will, but about Tottenham being hard to beat, but not the prettiest. They will be hard. They won't lose many games going to the end of the season. They'll probably lose 3 or 4. They won't lose many. They will draw a few. On how they are not very good to look at, they're probably under Conte visually. It's probably the best, most I've enjoyed them playing for about 4 years. So they're not unattractive by a long stretch, and they're zipping the ball around faster than they have in a very, very long time. It's just he does need a few players, and whether Daniel Levy give him the money to do that, probably doubtful.
Right then, let's get on to what I'm here for and excited for. But before we do, let's take some comments then. Good win for Brentford. Glad to see Gerrard lose. Another great win for Brentford against a very tough team at the moment. Let's take some more of your comments. Lanzini did get a 2-game ban for minimal contact and getting a penalty against Stoke a few years ago. And that's the only time I've seen that 3-match ban rule come into play. Shaun G, hope your afternoon cock squad. I didn't know Ed Sheeran was a hammer. He's not. He's claret. But the joke is, Dan, that we try and get Josh to become a West Ham fan because he's claret. So we're now going to try and get you to become a West Ham fan. Oh, here we go.
That's an old hat.
Blooming Christmas hat.
Yeah.
Oh dearie me. Well, after Dan's ranted about Leeds versus Burnley, now he might want to become a West Ham fan. But I'll put the link in the chat if you would like to go and watch Dan's rant from yesterday's game.
Jake, you've already caught me doing that at one point. So
I caught you again. It's on again. See, bang, second show running. Right, far away. Leeds 3, Burnley 1. Rant incoming.
Embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing, shocking. I'll try and keep the expletives down to a minimum. It was appalling. There's so many stronger words out there, and I'm not going to say them. We've become a bit of a joke, and we've gone from a team that have become so hard to beat, so resolute at the back, to bringing one player in from France and thinking, right, let's change up the system, let's be more expansive, let's try and get on the front foot from kickoff. And the cracks that are at the back are just so apparent. It's unreal. We saw in that game against Leeds how easy it was to just get forward, get in our faces. I mean, Rafinha in the first couple of minutes takes a pot shot from about 40 yards, nearly beats Hennessy from distance. It's not just the fact, as I said in my rant, it's not just the fact that it was Leeds. This has been a build-up for the last couple of games, and maybe a bit of frustration that some games have been called off and stuff. But I think it's got to a point of accepting that this is the season that we're going to go. And I'm not bitter about us actually going. What I'm bitter about is the manner in how we're going. The manner in how we're going down is what I'm more annoyed at. People saying Dash out, incorrect. I don't think that's the right thing to do. We stuck with him when we went down before. He's brought us back up and stuff like that. But I think Dash just needs to work on a couple of things. We've been knackered since 2018. Since Mark Garlick were in charge, That guy, as I've said to you previous, Anna, that he wanted change out of a tenner every transfer window. And it'd get to January, it'd be change out of a fiver because he's such a stingy get. And he's probably laughing his way to the bank now, going, "Wee, I've got all this money to one side." Since 2018, we have not really replaced anyone. And now we've got the same squad for many a year that has literally just not put in any effort at all now. You've got, as I've said, 10, 11 static robots and one flip. Maxwell Cornet is the difference between keeping Burnley in the Premier League or going down. And now we're going to lose him to the AFCON as well. So you can't just expect one player to bail you out the shit. You really, really can't. And it's so worrying and frustrating because the games over the Christmas period come thick and fast. And as much as, we only played 2 games recently due to, like, as you say, all the called off games. We played United. After that performance, I thought, you know what? It wasn't a bad performance. It was just 2 teams that were at each other. It was just a case of being beaten by the better quality on the day. The game against Leeds, though, mistake after mistake. Ben Mee, 4 minimum. Tarkowski, go. Get your stuff and go. Because I think, apart from 2 games this season, he's not made a mistake. Every other game he's made a mistake. And you can't do that. You can't do that in the Prem. And I think people will see that when he gets his move. Because I think his head's already turned. And I think that's why you don't give a shit. So we'll just see what happens. Basis of the game, Leeds deserved it. They could have even had more. We were pathetic. A 25-yard free kick that made you 1-1 think, oh, we've got a chance. And then what does Dash do? Take Lennon off, brings Rodriguez on, and brings the guy who's got you a goal and creating chances up top with Chris Wood. Let's bring him back to a wing, to playing left wing. What's the point of that? Going back to 2 idiots up top. I actually thought I got over yesterday, but I clearly haven't, have I?
It's difficult. Shaun, last week, Dan, we predicted halfway through the season, or a few days ago it was, who we thought would go down. I didn't send Burnley down. I don't think you did either, Shaun, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Oh, well, you might be right then.
Yeah. I did. This is before the Tottenham Watford game, by the way, because I sent Burnley down because I thought Watford had a few individuals that might get them out of trouble. And when I look at Burnley this year, I don't really see that. Like, Aaron Lennon's got on the side. Obviously, he's a bit of a Tottenham legend. Tottenham Twitter was going mad when he scored that goal the other day. But I don't know. You'd know a lot more than me. I look at Burnley this year, and they've always been a solid side, like you said. It's hard to beat. And if you're now
We've become a retirement centre. Because every player, apart from Nathan Collins, Dwight McNeil, and Maxwell Cornet, everybody else is above 30 pretty much.
Yeah. I know he's not your first choice keeper, but when I seen that Hennessy was in goal as well, I thought that's
It reminds me too much of Joe Hart in a way. Hogs his line, doesn't really come off it. And you just think, you get Nick Pope who will come out, punch a cross away and stuff like that and communicate with his back 4. When you sort of lose a figure like that, we saw it. The season we all actually thought we were going to go down. And we had Joe Hart in net for majority of the season. And then Tom Eaton came back. Funnily enough, it were against West Ham. He came back against West Ham. It were a game Andy Carroll got sent off, which probably quite often. But we ended up winning that game just because Heaton was in there. It was almost like the buzz around the place just instilled because you had somebody back that were a key player. But as I say, our defence, which is usually resolute, solid, you can count on it. There's cracks appearing, and it's horrible to see. So
obviously, Tarkowski's been linked to a lot of places. He's definitely going, is he? That's definitely
happening? He's gone. He's
been linked with us now after yesterday. I don't want any of that.
No, I wouldn't either.
But obviously it's not my club. But you've probably the club's probably known he's going for at least 6 months. Is that right? Probably at least.
Probably, yeah. The thing I said before was there's 2 ways you look at it with Tarkowski. You sit down with him in your office and say, listen, your contract's up in the summer. We'll let you talk to anybody and everybody at the end. If you pull your finger out, lace your boots up, pull your socks up, dig deep, and keep us up this season. But it seems that all the talk around Newcastle, the money, the finances, I'm linked with these, my pay packet's going to go like that. That's it. His head's just what Rick Pearson said. Are you an ostrich? Because that's basically what he is. He's lost his head. His head's gone. So I'd say cash in January. I think give 20-year-old Nathan Collins a chance, because if he makes a mistake, he's only young. He's learning. But with Tarkowski, who's been an ever-present, when you're seeing it game in, game out now, it just becomes torturous.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say one thing, and, Dan, you're going to laugh at this. For the first time in a good few years, Phil Jones is starting a Premier League football match for Manchester United tonight.
Wow.
So
over Harry Maguire.
He's injured, I think, or suspended. So if you're doing anything at 5:30, scrap it.
Man United have gained some strength then putting Phil Jones in. I didn't think I'd ever say that about a former Blackburn player either.
The centre-back partnership for Manchester United on the 3rd of January on 2021 is Raphael Varane and Philip Jones.
Wow.
That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But
sounds like a charity match, doesn't it?
Oh, that's brilliant. Let's take some of your comments. Is a quick fire because we have got to move on. Pope coming back soon. Is he injured?
Hopefully. He's been out with COVID. Oh,
I see. Deutsch does know how to avoid that relegation drop, but Newcastle, they might spend money. I don't think it's going to work for Newcastle, but they might spend money to get at least a couple of decent players in. Except from Cornet, I just don't see anything in Burnley. I do see some things in Watford. I see Dennis, I see Sarr, I see Sissoko in midfield, who's former Spurs man. I rate him. I think he's a decent player. I just don't see too many decent players in that Burnley side. But
we don't deserve Maxwell Cornet. We really don't.
No.
It's an honour and a privilege to see him play for Burnley Football Club, but we don't deserve him. We really don't. And he will get a big money move. And if he doesn't, it'll because he'll get a cheap release clause payout, and he'll get a free move.
Yeah, go on, Dan, get it off your chest.
I need to.
Sunderland done the same and then finally got relegated. Not Shaun Dyche's fault, just not the proper backing. I think
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. No proper backing is the reason why. Dash staying with the club is the best thing, in my opinion. He just needs to learn to adapt to games and stop coming out with the same crap and same lingo in every press conference. Either two things need to change. He needs to adapt to certain situations, or the press need to start asking him a bit harder questions.
Sharky says, will the new Burnley owners not spend more money?
They'll back him. It's just a case of by how much.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. There's no Bruno Fernandes as well tonight for Manchester United, so they've got the likes of Sancho starting over again. They've got Phil Jones in there. See, this is what I like. So Man United with their lineup graphic, they do it in number order. So it goes number 1 David De Gea, number 4 Phil Jones, number 7 Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh dearie me. But let's move on then to Everton 2, Brighton 3. Is Rafa on his way out of the door, Shaun?
It's got to be getting close now, and I had this. I think I like a little flirt, and I think I had this as like a 1-0 or something like that, because Brighton haven't been winning, they haven't really been scoring many, and then before you know it, they're 2-0 up. I thought, hang on, but yeah, I think. Well, everyone got to be a little bit careful. Like I know we're condemning Burnley a little bit here, but Everton, when did they last win a football match or get many points? It's gone back quite a while here, and
let's have a look. In their last 5, they've only picked up 1 win and a draw, 3 losses. So they've picked up 4 points in 5.
He's not going to be there long, is he? It's just. It was a shocking appointment. Do you know what I mean? It was he's a good manager, but was it ever going to work? The pressure's on him as soon as he got there. I think he's still working with Duncan Ferguson. He's got Big Dunk's got to be still there. He's true of blue as you can possibly get, and he's got a former Liverpool manager he's got to work with. I mean, it's just a bit typical of these owners that come in, lots of money, no footballing brain at all. They just think, all right, they just Google a good manager who's available at the time. They don't put any background checks in. They don't really give a lot of thought. A bit like the new Newcastle owners. They've come in, lots of money, and they just sat there for 3 weeks and thought, oh, what are we going to do?
That's it though as well, though. At the beginning, Mashiri came in and Everton started being a bit like, oh, brilliant, we've got money, we've got financial backing. Then they brought in flaming Ronald Koeman and said, right, here's a war chest, go and spend it. And he spent it on shite like Davy Classen. So
yeah, I'm sure I read that Everton, I think they're in one of the worst positions of financial fair play in the league as well. So they got, I'm assuming it's going ahead. They got this bright idea for a new stadium in the docks. But like I said, it's a no. The thing is, they've got an owner, and then they've got the old boy who's still running. I've forgotten his name. The
Bill Kenwright.
Oh, the theatre chap, I always call him. Yeah, he's still like chief exec on the board or something like that. So
yeah.
It's one of these clubs where you've got an owner pulling the strings, but you've got Bill Kenwright still trying to pull the strings. And do you know what I mean? It looks from the outside, looks quite a mess. And then they go and give Benitez the job after messing up the last few managers. Do you know what I mean? It was the young manager they had there for a while. Was it from Watford? Was it? He was there for a little while.
Was it Silva?
Silva,
yeah. Marco Silva, yeah.
Yeah, he was there for a little bit. It's like, who's this is Everton. I look always at Everton as a huge football club, and they've got their city rivals who've obviously got it right the last 5-6 years. They've got to put their heads together a little bit better and just, I don't know, chucking money out. It's obviously not work because you don't know who's buying the players. Employing the manager clearly isn't working. They're not getting it right, and something needs to change. And whether it is the communication at the very, very top, you can't have too many people trying to run a club. But this is more so my concern with Newcastle. Their owners have come in. As far as I'm aware, they've got no football person on that new board whatsoever.
No.
And I think we said when they come in, they had Steve Bruce there, and they almost gave him a farewell game. They announced that he was, Steve Bruce will be the manager for the upcoming game. Who announces that? That your current manager is going to be managing the team? It just some of these clubs and owners are just a little bit farcical, and it wouldn't take a lot for one of these big clubs just to go under one day, how they're run. But yeah, obviously it's a great win for Brighton. Even though Everton is struggling, you go to Goodison and win. I think we'd all treat that as a good result, even in the poor Everton side. So it's a great.
I think when you look at it, there's 100% 3 worst teams in the league. They are a good 8 points clear of the relegation zone. They're not going to get relegated. They're in a very poor run of form. They've got good players, but it's just not working together. They've got Decore and Allen in the midfield. There's some very good players there, and they're just not. Nothing's working, and you took Dominic Calvert-Lewin out of the side for a couple of months, injured, and he said it on Monday Night Football. He went on Monday Night Football, he said, I feel helpless, I'm sat here, they're losing week in, week out. You bring Dominic Calvert-Lewin in, and, you bring him back, and things start to look a little bit better, but, just some of that, they spent £35 million on Iwobi, for God's sake. Iwobi,
Weren't they 2-0 down, he smashed the penalty on the Debaro, didn't he?
Did he? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they penalty, and the run up was a little petty 2-step, and he clipped the top of the bar. But we've covered Benitez before. One of their best players is their left back, Dina.
Yeah,
he fell out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're struggling for players. One of your best players is very, very top, consistent left back. I think Chelsea are linked to him at the moment because they've got Chilwell out.
We're linked to him as well.
Benitez falls out of him. Do you know what I mean? I know you can't put. I don't even know what they fell out. I don't think it was something petty, but if you're struggling, and every Evertonian will know one of their best players is their left back, and then the redhead goes and falls out of him. Do you know what I mean? It's not doing himself any favours at all.
No, but that is it. Let's take some of your comments. There's no shame in getting trouble by Brighton. It's when you're is when, crikey, Shawnee, is when they're your perplexing bogey team. You get to scratch your head. I mean, there are bogey teams, Brighton and Burnley. It's just, I'm sorry, Dan, it's just Brighton and Burnley. It's the two Bs. It's just they're just an annoyance. They always nick points off you, and it's just, but we might get rid of Burnley for a couple of years now if they go down. So we'll have to wait and see.
That'll be an happier time for you, won't it?
Yeah. Well, no. It won't be, actually, because that means I got to go out and try and hunt for another opposition fan then, because you'll be down and we won't play you. So I got to go out and find another opposition fan.
There's always cup games, Jake. There's always cup games.
Exactly. Coming to you then, Dan. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. Now, this game, especially the first half, had senses of that Tottenham-Liverpool game a few weeks ago. Cracking game this was. Cracking.
Yeah, absolutely. End-to-end stuff. What the heck was Mane thinking of in like the first 50 seconds of the game?
6 seconds in, that was.
Yeah, 6 seconds in. Yeah. The only reason I say that is because I saw somebody's bet online. They put something like 500 quid on a yellow card in the on no yellow card in the first 59 seconds, and then Mane went and did him over. He said even the bankers that you can't get. He said madness, but yeah, it's one of the Chelsea. A lot of people before the season started thought Chelsea were going to be title contenders, and I just can't see it. They haven't got the bottle for title contention, in my opinion. Liverpool have to a degree, but Jurgen needs to stop making excuses in press conferences and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to divert the attention away from the team, in my opinion. That's why he's tried picking on us, arsehole. But he's the best of the game. Cracking game, especially if you're a neutral. You're thinking two big teams against each other, 2-2. It's one of them games, though, really, weren't it? Where the game wasn't talked about that much. It was all about Lukaku and Tuchel and what's happening there and all that stuff. But I agree with what Tuchel's done. I think if Lukaku's going to come out and say a load of stuff to foreign media, it's going to bite him in the arse when it comes out. So it's his own fault. It is his own fault. And not much really to say on the game. Just a cracking game for the neutral and probably a really good result for you guys. Being up and around there. It's only a point. Nobody steals a clear 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Man City will be happy with that, I think, as well. I mean, not that they'll be massively worrying. I think Man City halfway through the season have now got to lose 4 games and rely on whoever's in second to win every single one of their games. Man City aren't going to lose 4 games and then whoever's second going to win all of theirs. Not a chance that that's going to happen. City, you can already see those blue ribbons on that Premier League trophy, I think. But that might.
Do you not think that blue ribbons have go quite well, like complemented with a nice claret colour?
Ooh, well, it definitely ain't going to be Aston Villa, and it's definitely not going to be Burnley. So there's only one club that's left.
Drogheader United.
Chelsea are not good enough. The front three is not equal to Man City and Liverpool. I think the game was great to watch. It wasn't. Dan, I agree with you. They got no bottle. They aren't champions, and everything that's gone on with Tuchel and Lukaku just become a big mess. I feel for Tuchel here. I think but it's just one big mess. Europa League trophy, yeah. I can already see those claret and blue ribbons on that Europa League trophy. In Mark Noble's last game for the club, one sober Mark Noble, one sober Declan Rice lifting that Europa League trophy. That's the one thing West Ham fans want in their life. Just that, please, West Ham. But anyway, right, last game. We're not going to talk about it because it's Man United and Wolves, and nobody's really bothered. But prediction, Shaun.
Oh. We slagged off United before the game the other day, didn't we? And they went and won 3. I think now Wolves can't score, can they, at the moment? I think it'll probably be 1-0 United. I think Wolves will keep it tight and boring. United will fluke something, no doubt. And they keeps them out there, doesn't it? But yeah, Wolves, I think the manager's he'll do a job, but I don't think he's going to be very exciting. They keep it tight and they can't score. 1-0 United.
Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I think 1-0 United. I don't think it's going to be our scoring, which is strange because when they played us, I said it will be an our scoring game. But yeah, I just think Wolves have got something about them. As much as they're not putting the ball in the back of the net, they do play well together, and they do like to get forward, and they are quite resolute when they can play. It's just there's no end product from them at the moment. So other than that, it'll be one of those games where it will be frustrating for Manchester United, but they'll see a way through, and they'll sneak a goal for it in the game anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah. A lot of people going 1-0. Sharky's also going for 1-0. There we go. That is the Premier League roundup show for another week. Juventus, PSG, Real Madrid and Bayern have all open talks to sign Rudiger. Decent centre-back. Will Chelsea let him go? We'll have to wait and see. There goes the Premier League roundup show. I'm just having a look at the Premier League fixtures now, and the next round of Premier League fixtures technically is playing match day 18. There's 3 games that were called off due to COVID that are playing. We are in that one, but the next one is match day 22, which is played between the 14th and the 16th of January. So we will be back around then. That of course does involve the North London derby as well, so there'll be plenty of content building up to that Premier League round of fixtures. And who have Burnley got? Let's have a look. Burnley. Leicester. Oh, it's Dan v Chris. Here we go.
It's like I said to Chris, to be fair, I said to him, I spoke to him the other day, and I said, I'm not being funny, I couldn't give a shit about the game, I couldn't give a shit about the result. I'm in hospitality for that game, so it's a free bar. So I'm just literally going to be stood there, look over, and then go, yeah, we're still crap. Bang, next one. Line up another. Next one. I might actually do it. I might challenge myself. However many goals there is in the game, I'll be stuck. So I can see it being a heavy loss. I can only see it being a heavy loss. I have no faith now at all.
Dan would be loving life, that is for sure. And even when he's got to go and do Chris's opposition review, he'll still be banging them back.
I'll be rough.
For all of you darts fans of darts funnels tonight, we're going to be doing a preview for it at 7 with a darts expert. So come on, Michael Smith, because he's English, and catch that at 7 o'clock. And Shaun, thank you as always.
No worries at all, mate. No worries.
See you next week. And Dan, thank you very much for stepping in and shedding light on Burnley.
No, cheers for having me. Cheers for having me, and nice to meet Shaun as well.
And you.
Lovely stuff. From me, come on, you ones. Come on, Dan. You know what to do. Oh, hey, we got it. I'll take that. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff, and catch you in the next one.